Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Ian Loring, and welcome to episode 169 of Dude and a Monkey. As always, I am joined by...
Matt Foster. Hello, everybody.
And yes, hello. And it's going to be a fucking round one today, I think. So we've got a review of Star Trek Beyond. We're going to talk some what we watched. A lot of trailers. A lot of trailers,
yeah.
And we'll see what else we get to, if anything. So, what's going on with the site this week? The first football article is up.
Yes, it is indeed.
Written by your good self.
Yeah, I put it up there, sort of saying that Sam Allardyce was about to be named England manager, and it seemed like a foregone conclusion. And by the time I actually put it up, he'd been named England manager.
Yeah.
It's just a little piece, really, about kind of how we've got to the point of where Sam Allardyce is seen as a good appointment, and it's not a criticism piece of Sam Allardyce, because I don't, as much as I dislike, and I do mention it in the article, as much as I dislike Sam Allardyce, because he's very much that. He's the reason why we don't produce that many coaches, I think, because he's good at his job, but he thinks he's incredibly good at his job, and somebody was on Sky earlier today, and they were talking about saying, Big Sam, he's phenomenally successful. It's like, no, he's not. He's really not.
Yeah.
Phenomenally successful is people like, you could call Pep Guardiola phenomenally successful. Mourinho, phenomenally successful. They're the guys who are phenomenally successful. Carlo Ancelotti is phenomenally successful.
He's phenomenally successful at avoiding relegation, but is that what England actually want?
That's the thing. He's phenomenally successful at being a mid-level manager. And my point of the article is that's not something to be kind of scoffed at. He's had a very good career and a very successful career for what he's done, for what he's aimed to do, and that is fine. You can say that. But my point of the whole thing is that what Roy Hodgson has done is he's done what he does everywhere, which is he goes in and he creates this idea that everything is terrible and he's there to save it. And then if he doesn't save it, he goes, well, it couldn't be saved, not even by me. It couldn't be saved. It's like, no, don't come in and tell us everything's shit and even you couldn't save it, and you tried your best, and if you couldn't, then, all power to the next person who tried. You drag everything down. And yeah, that's what I call being hodged.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I'm glad he's only got a 2-year contract. And I'd like, if the FA have got any sense whatsoever, if we don't do well at the World Cup, cut our losses there and don't just do another Hodgson and say, well, let's see what happens in 2 years.
Yeah, I think a 2-year contract is a good idea. I very much like the fact that the first thing he did, he hasn't had a press conference yet, but in his first interview as England manager, he seems very happy to be England manager, which is good. Whereas Hodgson saw it as the culmination of his destiny, and of course he was going to become England manager.
Yeah.
Whereas Allardyce seems a little bit like, I thought this had gone. I'm happy it's happened. And a little bit like, do you know what? I'm going to prove to people that I'm not just a long ball merchant, but I'm going to do it my way, which is fine. But also as well, he did say, look, being England manager, there's not as much to do as being a club manager. I don't want to be sat around doing nothing. So I'm going to look at why isn't St George's Park running, to its full capacity? What can I do there? Not just what can my experience bring there, but how can I put my time and effort into going, right, this is what I think you should do. Talking to other club managers and other clubs and other academy directors and going, what works for you? What can we bring from what you do there that works there to over here? So not just saying, I'm going to come in and I'm going to revolutionise it and I'm going to do this. He's coming in and kind of saying, look, I want to be the guy who, I'll do the work that gets it going. Which is quite, he's the sort of person where you wouldn't mind having a pint with Sam Allardyce,
Mm-hmm.
but you wouldn't want to go out for a meal with your wife with Sam Allardyce. Because he'd spend all of his time trying to belittle you and impress your wife. Whereas if you went out for a beer with him, I reckon you could take the piss at him a little bit and he'd take the piss back and it'd be all right.
Yeah.
So I think he's a good appointment for England now. I just don't think England should be in the position where it's ever considered that Sam Allardyce is a good appointment.
That's a fair comment. Yeah.
Yes. I do have a proposition for you for the site.
Okay.
That I will do the articles every week. I'm going to do and I'm going to commit to this, which I probably fucking shouldn't. But every week I'm going to do a little. So I'll probably start either, depending on when the games start, either on a Thursday or a Friday. I'll go out there, and it'll be basically a little kind of this is what's going to happen in the Premier League weekend. A little preview.
Okay.
Right now, what I propose is, and I'll draw up the scoring system over the next few days. Is I will literally just message you the fixtures, and what I want off you is your prediction of the score. And I'm going to predict the score as well. And at the end of the season, we see who got anywhere near right.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, because it's just literally, we can just flip through it in 5 minutes. But I will literally have a table going that dictates the actual table, my theoretical table, and your theoretical table. And we'll see how they go at the end of the season.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, so I think that could be a bit of fun. And we'll draw up some kind of forfeit or something for the end of what is it for whoever wins.
Okay, cool.
Yes, cool. So yeah, it was fun writing that for the site. And there'll be more sort of film stuff and football stuff and food stuff that'll go on it over the next sort of few weeks, I'm sure.
Yeah, I put up that thing of me playing The Witness.
I did watch that.
A game I've significantly called on since recording it. Fuck that game.
Yeah,
I don't have the intellect or the patience for that game.
I messaged Ian on WhatsApp last night because I was watching it. I do actually watch literally every video that Ian does for the what's it, because genuinely, and if you don't, I'm not just saying this because we don't get anything out of the YouTube things or anything like that. It's not like I'm trying to get people to watch it because we make money or anything like that. We don't.
Oh.
But what I will absolutely say is, I'm not a massive gamer, but I genuinely really enjoy watching the Ian playing the game things. I find them just queerly relaxing. It's really strange. But that one, I was watching it, and there was a bit where there's these squares, and there's black dots in some of them, there's white dots in the other, and what you have to do in the game is go from one place to another, but you have to separate the white dots from the black dots.
Couldn't get it. I couldn't get it.
And Ian's doing this bit, and I'm there going, no, it's up, right, down, right, up. And he kept doing it. And I was going, no. And at one point, I saw Becky went, I'm ringing him. She went, you know this isn't happening right now. I was like, shit, it isn't, is it? Damn it!
I had a guy in work pretty much say the exact same to me, thing to me, Tom. He went, I was pretty much shouting at my TV watching you.
Yeah, it is. And the thing is, I'm looking at going, I know that if I was playing that game, I'd be doing exactly the same thing Ian's doing right now, because it's totally different when you're playing it to when you're watching somebody play it. Because when you're watching somebody play it, you can go, oh, you do that. But when you're playing it, it's just that little bit different.
Yeah, no, but sincerely, fuck that game. I understand if people get into that, then good on them, but it's just, it's not me. It's not me.
No.
Also, I will say I cancelled my pre-order for the Xbox One S because it won't support the Dolby Atmos.
Oh.
At least to start with, and there's no word on whether it's going to.
Oh.
And I'm going to need that.
Because the PS4.5 or whatever they call it, or PS4S, the 4K one, that essentially is just a PS4 but 4K, doesn't it, I believe?
Well, nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Fucking thing hasn't even been announced officially. Well, apart from the fact we know it's coming, no other details. So
yeah. I'd be very surprised if it doesn't.
But I don't know. I knew there was going to be something.
Yeah, it was a little bit too good to be true, wasn't it?
It made no sense, but you know. hey, there you go. But hey, I'm happy enough anyway. But shit, like, we're like what 10 minutes in. Okay, so let's do some trailers, which I think is pretty much going to be all Comic Con focused. But do you have anything else?
No. So rather than doing, oh wait, I did the no, it's all Comic Con related, apart from the second red band for Sausage Party.
Oh yes, no, which I also saw, and yeah, let's see. It got some very, very good word when it screened at Comic Con a few days ago. So who knows?
Yeah, I'm still cool on it. I hope that it's under 96 minutes long, but I have a feeling it won't be.
I'll say I haven't laughed out loud at a single thing in the marketing for that so far, and it has me worried. But
yeah, I can definitely see that.
I'm kind of in the tank for Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, so
that's where I am with it as well. Yeah.
Fucking sorry, I've been fucking downing this Cornish Pale Ale. Marks and Spencer's Cornish Pale Ale, not too shabby.
Is that all right?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Running time of Sausage Party is 88 minutes.
They are perfect. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do very nicely.
Edward Norton plays a character called Sammy Bagel Jr.
That'll do.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That has made me laugh more than anything in the trailers.
Nice. So yeah, Comic Con. Interesting. Marvel, like apart from Doctor Strange, neglected to show the Guardians of the Galaxy footage, and good on them. But apart from that, pretty much everything else big went up, and which is interesting considering last year there was a big Warner's had to basically rush out the first footage from Suicide Squad because people filmed it and stuff, and it kind of seems like the studios have slightly given in.
I think I read something a few days ago about that. Apparently, Comic-Con literally said to a few of the studios, look, if you're gonna show trailers here, can you just make them available? Just make them available literally simultaneously, because the way that you've been doing it before don't work. It's annoying as having to go around and check to make sure everybody isn't, filming it so that they can leak it online and then going like that, and then you saying, oh, no, it's supposed to be on Comic-Con. Just release them. Just release them.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, like, the people who are there, they still get the buzz in the room, and they still get the people actually, like the cast being there and stuff like that. So it doesn't feel like that much of a muchness. I was surprised they released the Justice League thing, though. I kind of thought, because it's not really a trailer, and like maybe they keep that there, but no, they didn't. Even though then again, after BVS, it kind of feels like there's some major PR campaigning going on for Justice League.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe that's a place to start as I brought it up. I mean, yeah, I mean, if this course correction that they're doing looks like it's very quickly taken shape, like very quickly, and I don't know, like Batfleck makes jokes,
yeah,
which is good, and I think he wears it well, and it's going to be like, if he's like that in Justice League, it's going to be so weird compartmentalizing the fact that, like, in the film before, he was branding people with the bat symbol.
Yeah, it is a little bit kind of strange that he's going in a bit of a chill mode, Batman. Yeah, like you say, it does seem a little bit more like we're getting the Bruce Wayne kind of Batman rather than just Batman. Which looks quite entertaining. It is very much, but then again, it literally is. Everybody seems to know that Bruce Wayne is Batman in this trailer, which is a little bit like, we get it. It's Ben Affleck, and you want to show Ben Affleck off, but there is supposed to be a little bit of, it's supposed to be a bit of a secret identity.
Yeah,
just put it out there.
Yeah, that's a fair point, I think. But I don't know. I thought it was. I mean, it was bitty and all over the place, but it's not a trailer. It's like a sizzle reel or something. So I think there's that explanation there. But I don't know, the thing with the Flash and the I Need Friends was good. You know, like Affleck's response to him was solid. The thing with Aquaman, I mean, the shot of Aquaman standing there with like the waves coming all over him was pretty badass.
Yeah, and also him picking Bruce Wayne up and smashing into what is it establishes a size thing, which was quite nice.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they've got some work to do, and I don't know. It's only just over a year until it's out. There's still a lot of time, and um,
And there's a couple of movies to come out as well.
yeah. I mean, because old Wonder Woman's out next year, isn't it? We'll get onto that trailer in a minute, but
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it looks all right. You know, I think the fact that it felt like Snyder had his handprints all over Man of Steel, which I liked, and Batman vs Superman, which I didn't like. But then again, with Man of Steel, he had Chris Nolan there as well. It's
Yeah.
like with the first Transformers, which I think is the only Transformers which is actually watchable, where it was Michael Bay had just come off The Island, which was his first flop, and Steven Spielberg was was hands on in picking Michael Bay,
Yeah.
and it feels like he was more there with the first one, and it kind of feels like here Zack Snyder has had to acquiesce and let other people come in, and maybe that's actually gonna save things.
Yeah, because it was a little bit with the first Transformers, like, Bay was going, we need to blow that up, and Spielberg was going, that's a horse, Michael, they don't blow up.
Yeah, no, exactly. Whereas
And then
Transformers 2, you've got a Transformer with balls.
Yeah, yes, exactly, that kind of thing. And this, a little bit, maybe I would say maybe it's Snyder learning from his mistakes, but I doubt Snyder's the type of person that learns from mistakes. He's got an aesthetic, and in his mind, it's gotten him where he's got to. So why would he change it?
I basically think it's the suits saying, look, you got Ben Affleck here, who frankly is a more acclaimed director than you, and if you don't start like at least checking things with us, we'll just have him do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was something quite similar to that, you know. And
but also as well, I think what Snyder will kind of do there is he will going to go, all right, I have made you a fuck ton of money though, haven't I? And he kind of has.
Yes. Well, he did with I mean, let's look at it. He did with 300.
Yeah.
Watchmen did okay. Man of Steel did okay.
Man of Steel did nearly 700 million. That's good. That's nearly 3 times its budget.
Yeah. Okay. That's still not as much as the studio would have wanted. I suppose my point is, he hasn't made a film that has
topped $1 billion.
Like really, really blown the doors off. And considering the opening weekend that Batman vs Superman had, that should have blown the doors off, but it didn't, and that was a sign of word of mouth. You know, I mean, like, it even had a month before Civil War. It had time.
I mean, it's a funny one, really. It's because it's still made an unbelievable amount of money, but it hasn't topped $1 billion, and it's strange now that they're looking at that and saying, well, that isn't quite good enough.
But it's the world we live in.
Oh, it is, yeah, it is, absolutely.
You know, it's the world where The Conjuring 2 does nearly 900 million worldwide.
What?
Yeah.
The Conjuring 2?
Look it up.
You're joking.
Look it up.
That's insane. That can't. That. You said 900 million.
Yeah.
The Conjuring 2's done 310. Off a 40 million budget.
Hang on, where am I getting that from then?
Don't know. What are you smoking?
Hang on. I know somewhere fucking reported that.
Yeah, it's done. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's done 310 million off a 40 million budget.
Well, that's embarrassing.
What's told you that?
What the fuck? I read that somewhere. Well, that's embarrassing, and I take it back. All right, it's a world where Deadpool does $782 million. How about that?
That's insane. You know, it's incredible.
Fucking. Because how much has Dawn of Justice actually done?
800 and something million. 872 million.
So, right, domestic 330 million. I mean, oh God, that's brutal. It made over half its money in its opening 3 days in the US.
Mm. I think it's still, there's still been a few movies that have topped it. I think it won't finish in the top 5.
No.
Which is
Jungle Book, Zootropolis.
Finding Dory.
Mm-hmm.
Which, has Finding Dory opened in the UK yet?
No, it comes out Friday.
Finding Dory. Of course, school of this don't start till, well, I've only just started. Yeah, Finding Dory's done 781 million. That's insane.
But yeah, so I mean, Finding Dory's going to do. It will beat Batman versus Superman. So I mean, that's the thing. Batman versus Superman should be doing more than a lot of these films.
Oh yeah, it should be. It should be. Absolutely.
So that's it's almost a gimme. It basically is. If it doesn't, it is because the film is not very good.
Yeah, that's it. And you know, like I say, I think maybe we'll tell him to cool down on the. Maybe I would think they'll want the script polished up a little bit and it'll be a bit tighter. I would say they'll also want it to be a little less morbid, a little bit less moody. I know that's the kind of world they're going for. They're going for a darker world than the Marvel Universe world, and that's fine because you don't just want carbon copies of the Marvel Universe featuring DC characters. You want it to have a little bit of different, but it's I don't know the tone of it and the mood of it just hasn't quite settled and hasn't felt quite right yet. It's felt like it's trying to do. It felt like it's trying to do Dark Knight a little bit too much. And when you're saying you're separate from those movies, you've got to keep separate from those movies.
Mm-hmm. But I suppose, sorry, you caught me eating. I do apologise. But I mean, I suppose moving on from Justice League, what do you think of Wonder Woman?
It's a great trailer. That one looks like it's gonna be a lot more fun. There's a lot more zoom, zip, zap, zap, boom within it. I like the visuals of her sliding along and that sort of goes into slow-mo and then it quickens up at the end. So it's playing with stuff really quite well, and it's having a bit of fun with itself, and it looks badass. It really does look like a badass movie.
Yeah.
And I like the look of that. I'm absolutely well up for it.
Yeah, I mean it looks fun. It actually looks fun. The imagery of Wonder Woman in her costume in like a World War II battlefield is very interesting. The thing at the end I quite like about the whole it sounds like slavery to me kind of thing. I thought was pretty good. It looks like Chris Pine is basically going to be hunky comic relief, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a kineticism to the action which looks really, really solid. Man, it's interesting. Again, just going back to the moodiness of Batman vs Superman, that this has already been shot. This is done, basically, in terms of production. So it can't have really been influenced by the Batman vs Superman is too dark, we got to lighten this shit up stuff.
Mm.
So it's like,
is the trailer been more playful than the film?
Yeah, that. Or is it just Snyder was really, really intent on doing that shit with Batman versus Superman, just like to a fault? Yeah,
which it could be. It could be that because Patty Jenkins that's doing that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently they're very much kind of giving it to her and said, you've got make your Wonder Woman movie. which is great, you know, and it's nice that they're doing that. So maybe she's looked at it and gone, do you know what? This is Wonder Woman. I want her to be badass, and I want it to that, but I also want it to be a fun fucking movie for people to watch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think between Wonder Woman and Justice League, I think DC have got a potentially very interesting slate for next year. But I mean, what have Marvel got coming next year? They got what, like Thor, Ragnarok, Spider-Man, and Guardians 2.
Yeah,
that's quite something.
Next year's shaping up is what we'll say. There's some big movies coming out next year.
Yeah, no, I mean this summer, kind of as it's winding down, does kind of feel like it's been a bit lackluster. It feels like a bit of a breather. And I mean, like, you had Batman vs Superman and Civil War right at the start.
Yeah, and then you had the kind of the hit of the year, really, because you expected Batman vs Superman, you expect Finding Dory, and you expect Civil War to make the money. The kind of surprise of the year was Deadpool coming in and kind of going, hey, and that's it's cool because that's now having a bit of a trickle-on effect, and it's influencing things going forward. Maybe, you know, we're gonna get, you know, let's be honest, if Deadpool hadn't have been such a success, we wouldn't have been getting a R-rated Wolverine movie. I don't think that Suicide Squad, they'd have allowed that 15 certificate. I think they'd have gone, what do we need to do to just take it down to that 12A?
It's interesting that that's PG-13 in the US.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere else. It is the 12A equivalent, apart from the UK, which is really quite strange. It does seem a little bit, because it's quite dark. Apparently, it's quite a dark movie. A little bit. They've gone, do you know what? Do we want to make the same mistake we made with
Dark Knight?
With Dark Knight, but again, they admit that they don't think they made a mistake. But I think it was something ridiculous, like they had of complaints about Dark Knight. They had 3 times the amount of complaints they usually have in a year, and that was just about the Dark Knight.
Yeah, even though it was interesting, though, I saw when the BBFC posted it on Twitter, there were a lot of people reacting, saying, great, now I can't take my kid to it. They were really looking forward to it, now I can't take my kid to it. It's just you can't have it both ways.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't criticise the BBFC at all. I think they do a very good job in very strange circumstances. And and as well, the BBFC saying, for instance, is Suicide Squad at 15. That doesn't mean that anybody under the age of 15 isn't allowed to watch it. The BBFC is saying, we are making it the guidance that we don't feel that people under the age of 15 should be allowed to watch it in a cinema, so they're not going to be allowed to watch it in a cinema. When it comes out on video, if you want to show your 13-year-old kid it, then show them it. But our guidance is there, and it stops them from coming to the cinema. That's how it works. I was a little bit gutted because my daughter's really looking forward to it. But do you know what? That doesn't mean she's never going to get to see Suicide Squad. It's just she'll have to wait 4 or 5 months extra to see Suicide Squad. I don't think that's going to exactly fucking affect her life, really, is it?
No, quite. I mean, it's the fact that if it was cut for a 12A, you'd have people bitching about the fact it was cut for a 12A. It's not cut for a 12A, and you got people bitching because they can't take their kids to it. Yeah. It's just one or the other. At least with the 15, kids can try and pretend to be 15.
Yeah. The thing is, I'm saying, I'm disappointed for my daughter, but if Aya came out and it was 12A and said, you know, there's going to be an extended cut, but we couldn't put that out in the cinema because we wanted to get that 12A certificate, then I'd be even more disappointed. I'd be like, hang on a fucking minute. If you add David Ayer, you get a David Ayer movie. David Ayer movies are 15s. They just are. If they're not a 15, they're a fucking 18. There you go. If it had come in at 12A, I wouldn't have been bothered, but I would have been a little bit like, I wonder. Just wonder.
It was interesting. I was reading an interview with Ayer on Deadline yesterday, which I recommend you read, actually. It was a good interview. I think you'd enjoy it. And he's saying, this is my film.
Yeah.
You know, there is no extended cut. This is me. This is my film. don't worry about it.
Which you don't expect anything else from Ayer. And I don't think Ayer would have taken on that movie unless he knew that he could make his version of it, which is it's cool. You know, and did you watch the moving on? I suppose we can do Gary, the Suicide Squad one. Well, did you watch the Suicide Squad Comic Con trailer, which didn't actually feel like a trailer? It felt a little bit like a look. This is the last bit of content we're going to give you.
I didn't, just because it's out in 2 weeks, and I felt, what's the point?
Yeah, it's nothing you haven't already seen, to be honest. The other trailers have all felt very, very well put together and very good. This feels a little bit like they've gone, we need something for Comic Con, and they've gone, we've done all the trailers. It's out in like 2 fucking weeks. They've gone, we need something for Comic Con, and they've gone, fucking hell. There you go, and they've gone, we need something else. We need just like a couple of extra little bits, and they've gone there and there. There you go, but you haven't given us fucking time to cut together a proper trailer. So it did feel a little bit like that.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's fair enough. I mean, like they don't really need to do anything now, do they? No. Okay, so moving on. I suppose staying with DC, kind of. Lego Batman.
Yeah. The trailers are fun. The trailers are funny. The idea's fun. The idea's funny. I'm just worried that if they can hold that for 90 minutes.
Yeah, man. Will Arnett doing that for 90 minutes could be a bit...
Yeah. Could be a bit. Do you know what? These should have been little features, little mini half an hour, what is it, that were tacked onto, that were like tacked onto every DVD or iTunes extras of every DC universe movie. You had like a little Batman short, a little half an hour of a Batman goes on an adventure.
Yeah.
But then again, a lot of people said the same thing about the Lego movie. Could it hold together, or what is it? And it fucking did. So again, you're judging off a few trailers, but that is my worry.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I laughed. I don't live in Batman, Bruce Wayne's basement. Bruce Wayne lives in my attic. Was pretty solid.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Ray Fiennes sounds good as Alfred.
Yes, he really does. Yeah. The what is it? You need to take care of your son. I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
No, I mean, like, in the end of the day, if this is the Batman film that 5-year-olds can go and see, awesome. If it's not that great for adults, fuck it.
Yeah,
never mind.
That's it. I think that is what people might miss. Is that look, the Lego. We know you enjoyed the Lego movie because it had a hipster song in it, and it felt like that. And you were going, "Oh, look at all the little in jokes that are for us," anything like that. The reason why these Lego things have got made is because kids play these fucking Lego games like crazy. That's why they're there. So let them have their superheroes.
And it's going to come out in February, and it will probably do $1 billion.
It could quite well do, yeah.
It will do more than Batman vs Superman. The Lego Batman film will do more than Batman vs Superman. I tell you now.
I hope it does.
Okay. Jesus. So Warner Brothers had some more, didn't they? Kong Skull Island.
Yes.
It's Apocalypse Kong, isn't it?
It's Apocalypse Kong. Yeah.
Fine by me.
It is. I once it started, the trailer started, I was like, I'm all right with this. I was all right with it because the poster is fantastic.
It's a solid poster.
And then it started, and I was like, yeah, this is moody. And then it started going, I was like, oh my god, this is a fucking war film. Yeah. This is fantastic. And then there was the obvious kind of Apocalypse Now nods. I was like, yes. Throwing my wallet at the screen, going, just have it, take it, everything. I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah, same. I don't know. I don't have much more to say. Helicopters in hazy, low sun.
Yeah, and then that massive Kong just arriving.
Yeah.
Also, as well, a helicopter getting hit by a tree, and everyone looking at each other going, "What the?" And slightly slimmer John Goodman. So.
Yeah, which is always good. So there's that, and King Arthur.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not?
Why not?
Sure.
That literally is. That was mine and yours exchange. What is it on WhatsApp? Not King Arthur is. Why not? I will happily watch essentially Guy Ritchie going, I'm going to do a Cockney King Arthur movie. I'm going to do a Cockney gang story that's about King Arthur.
Yeah.
Yep. Fine by me.
Like that trailer's mental.
Oh.
Like it's gonna do disastrously. It's gonna make no money.
Oh no, I think it will.
No. Like mainstream audiences are gonna watch that trailer and they're gonna be like, "What the fuck was that?"
I think I'm gonna put out. And no, don't know. It's not gonna make $1 billion. It's not gonna make 700 million or anything stupid like that. But I reckon it'll make money.
This will be this year's Deadpool for me. It will like come out and it would like just do insane.
Do you know one of the reasons why I think it will? Because there's a little bit of an ace up the sleeve with this movie, isn't there?
What?
Beckham's in it.
Is he actually in it?
He's in it and has a small speaking role.
Yeah, because he had a small speaking role in The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah, no, he's an actual character in this.
Okay. Interesting.
And he still outright says, I am not pursuing a career in acting. I'm not very good, but Guy Ritchie is my mate.
Yeah, which, well, I don't know, fair enough, why not? And to be fair, I thought he was quite funny in The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, Jesus Christ. What else have we got?
Still got a few to go.
Yeah, Doctor Strange. Wi-Fi password made me laugh.
Wi-Fi password made me laugh. The rest of it, I was watching it going, oh, God. Have I got to watch 2 hours of this?
Yeah, it's the closest to a not sure thing Marvel have had in a while. The visuals look interesting, but very Inception-y, as they did in the first trailer.
The whole kind of aesthetic looks Inception-y, and the ideas look Matrix-y.
Yeah, there you go.
They must look at Tilda Swinton and go, she does really look and sound a lot like Morpheus.
Yeah, that's true. It's going to be if Cumberbatch can make you care.
Yeah.
Judging by that trailer, I'm more into Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yes. I watched Doctor Strange, but I couldn't give a shit about it.
Yeah, it's the most I don't really care of any Marvel film in a while.
Yeah.
And it's just like I'd rather have any of next year's before this.
Yes.
So, but you know, who knows? Yeah, absolutely, who knows? And Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which looks like Harry Potter in New York without Harry Potter, and I'll watch it.
Boring is what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll watch it. Why not? I mean, I like the Harry Potter films. Colin Farrell's going to be a bad guy, it looks like. Fine. And what surprise of the week, I suppose, there's a new Blair Witch film.
Yeah. Do we know the kind of the starting with this? Did it start as a new Blair Witch? It did start as a new Blair Witch.
It was a Blair Witch film all the way. They just haven't closed people out with the title.
Right. That's fine. I'm all right then with that. My worry was that they've gone, oh, this isn't great. This isn't great. This movie. Do you know what we could do? What? It is a little bit Blair Witchy.
Yeah, no. It's very much like tied. And I mean, I rewatched the original trailer from a couple months back, and I still can't get any hint in that whatsoever of it being a Blair Witch film.
It looks crap in that trailer. We both said it here, didn't we? The weird thing was when we talked about it on here, we both said the same thing. Of that looks crap, but there must be more to it because of the director. He can't be making that movie. He can't be making just a generic woods-based horror movie.
But the both trailers look like a generic woods-based horror film. Like the trailers don't look good.
No, they don't. But it's now got me at least interested. You know, before, if it was just the woods and it was just, and we had a horror movie set in woods, I'd be like, do you know what? I can wait for Netflix for that. Whereas this makes me go, I want to watch it. I want to see how it ties it in. I want to see what the sequel is. I want to see if it in any way is the scariest movie ever made, which you can say about any horror movie because at least one person will think every horror movie is the scariest movie ever made. So I'm now interested.
Yeah, and I mean it's written by Simon Barrett as well, so, and it's produced by their normal producer Keith Calder. So it's them doing this, and that is interesting. And if we're going to do a Blair Witch sequel nearly 20 years later, I'm kind of glad it's them doing it, I suppose. It's just the trailers don't look great, but let's see what happens.
Yes.
I'm assuming the reason why it got pulled from Fright Fest was because of this, and Fright Fest probably had to get their shit printed up, and whatnot, and it's weird that this got pulled from Fright Fest, and why did it get pulled from Fright Fest? Because if you're going to want positive word on a Blair Witch sequel, if you're a sure thing this is good, would be play it at Fright Fest.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So it kind of feels like them. I think it must be something to do with this whole thing that's caused it to be pulled from Fright Fest.
Yeah.
I wonder how far out they have to have certain materials ready, and they couldn't call it the woods there. I mean, I'm actually going to have a look at the Fright Fest forums just to see if there's anything there about it, but
because it does come out, it comes out beginning of September, doesn't it? Well, middle of September.
Yeah.
UK.
Oh right, okay. So they're doing a separate, they're doing a separate preview screening. Fright Fest are going to be hosting a special preview screening prior to its UK release.
Oh, fair enough then.
So yeah, but it comes out September 16th. So I'm on holiday that weekend. Bollocks. Oh man, I wonder if it's going to be playing Spain the same weekend, because I think I'm going with my in-laws and my sister-in-law and her boyfriend, and I reckon they'd be up for going to see it.
Have to wait and see on that one.
One
last one is the Snowden trailer, which played Comic-Con for some reason.
I didn't actually see this trailer.
It looks like it could be a really interesting film, to be honest. It's an interesting story. Joseph Gordon-Levitt looks like he's doing very well. And the thing is, with Oliver Stone, when he's tackling this kind of stuff, when he's on with it, he can be very, very good. So let's fingers crossed it's going to be one of his very, very good ones, not one of his not as good ones.
Yep, fair enough. September, isn't it?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Bloody hell, we're getting there, aren't we? We're pretty close to September. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Right. Okay. So that's that.
That's the bumper trailer talk.
Yeah. We did a poll. I'm just gonna get my phone out now and have a look.
Did you see Joe Carnahan's tweet?
About what?
Joe Carnahan put out a tweet shortly after all these trailers dropped, saying, forget male director, forget female director, you want a flat-out badass filmmaker, Miss Patty Jenkins is the goods, and Wonder Woman looks fucking great. And Patty Jenkins actually responded to him about it.
That's cool.
She responded with... let me just find her response. Because she's had quite a lot of tweets. For a truly great filmmaker, that means the world. Thanks, Joe.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was nice. You know, that's a typically Joe Carnahan response to something like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So 19 votes in the poll. Thanks to everyone for voting. That's cool.
Yep.
Pretty tight, to be fair. Third place, Lego Batman with 26%, Kong Skull Island with 32%, Wonder Woman with 42%, and other 0%. So it looks like we got the top three.
Yes, we did indeed.
So Doctor Strange can go fuck itself, apparently.
Yeah, it can. No one gives a shit.
Yeah. So let's move on. Star Trek Beyond. It is directed by Justin Lin and stars the usual, basically, but also Idris Elba and Sofia Boutella. Story in this one, they're about 3 years into their 5-year mission. Kirk is bored and actually says things are feeling episodic, which was a bit like, wow, all right, fair enough. Like, yeah, that's quite meta, isn't it? Okay. The Enterprise are responding to a distress call where they're attacked by a kind of a collection of beings known as the Thrall. They are led by Crowl, played by Idris Elba. They crash land, the crew are separated, and Scotty teams up with Jayla, played by Sofia Boutella, and basically they have to try and defeat Idris Elba's character. Mark, what do you think of Star Trek Beyond?
I had a lot of fun with it. I like the fact that it stands alone, completely alone, as its own movie, which I think is really cool. I have seen Star Trek and I've seen Star Trek Into Darkness, but I can't really remember them that well. I remember what happened, but if you were to ask me to pick out specific points, I'd be like, I have a feeling when I watched either of them again, I'll be going, I forgot about this bit, and I forgot about this bit. So I don't remember them vividly, but I know the kind of bits of what happened. Whereas this felt, I don't know, it felt breezy. It felt like, it felt less like it was trying to impress people, which I got that feeling with Star Trek Into Darkness, that Star Trek went, we're here, and it surprised people. Star Trek Into Darkness tried to impress people and ultimately kind of failed, although I didn't actually mind it. Whereas Star Trek Beyond kind of felt like it was going, do you know what? We're just going to make a Star Trek movie. We're just going to try doing that rather than making a new Star Trek movie. So it felt, weirdly, it felt smaller in kind of scale. It felt a little bit more, because everyone's spread around. And I don't know, I'm not a Star Trek hater, but I'm not a huge Star Trek fan, so I don't know the universe. But I felt more like I was watching a Star Trek movie. And I liked that. And what I really liked was the fact that at one point I looked at my watch, and it wasn't I'm bored, look at my watch. I just happened to look at my watch, and I went, shit, there's only like half an hour left. And it gets to that third act really quickly and really well. In that, what can usually happen with these movies is the start and the build are great, the middle bags, and then the end disappoints. Whereas this, I thought it was solid throughout, to be honest. I had a good time with it. I mean, we'll get to the more exact points, and we'll get to a few kind of, this didn't really work for me bits. But yeah, overall, it's a fun space romp. And that's what you want from a Star Trek movie. Well, that's what I want from a Star Trek movie, to be honest.
Yeah, no, agreed. Excuse me. I think it's got enough character, like plenty of character stuff there, and it's not particularly like world-smashing, apocalyptic, like holy shit, everything's gonna blow up, which I enjoy as well. I mean, I don't think it's perfect. Idris Elba's character, I guessed what was going on with him really, really, really early on, and I thought that played out a bit disappointingly flat, to be honest. But yeah, I thought it was a great deal of fun as well. It does feel like its own self-contained thing, though. You know, the stuff about Kirk's father, I think, is interesting, considering the information this week that Chris Hemsworth's going to be in the next one, which could be very interesting. Hemsworth and Pine together, if they play it right. And the action is solid without being spectacular, but there's a good sense of movement to the whole thing. I think it's a little baggy. ever so slightly. I wasn't looking at my phone or anything like checking the time, but I would have been close to it. And I think maybe the ending is not as interesting as a lot of the stuff that comes before. But the cast is still great. It's good that everyone's given stuff to do. Zoe Saldana feels slightly let down. She basically becomes person Idris Elba spouts exposition to.
Yeah, but I don't mind Zoe Saldana as an actress. I think she's okay. She's perfectly fine. She isn't somebody that way she turns up something and I go, God, not her. But she was a bit one note in the first two.
No, she is. She's basically
and giving her stuff to do
annoyed at Spock because of something.
Yeah, if you give her stuff to do just for the sake of giving her stuff to do, it feels like if she had more to do, they'd have had to tone down another character, and I'd have been going there going, I want more of Sophie Nutella. I want more of that. That's what I want because she was cool.
Yeah, no, and that's true. She was cool. She was badass. And
yeah.
It would have been cool if maybe Uhura had a badass moment herself, and she kind of doesn't really.
No.
Then again, I mean, like Chekhov doesn't get an awful lot to do either.
No.
It's going to be interesting how they play that in the next ones.
Well, they've basically said we're not replacing him.
Yeah, because it's going to be interesting because the key thing with Spock at the end is basically like he doesn't want to give up on his crew. Like he wants the crew to stay together. And what's going to happen with Anton Yelchin's character? I know through no fault of their own, but it's going to be he's got a promotion and he's going to be like first officer on another starship or something like that, and he's off. And it slightly feels like it's going to dampen Spock's arc slightly, maybe, but it can't be helped. It's actually mean to kind of like talk about that, so maybe I should just stop. But yeah, no, I mean it's an awful lot of fun. You can tell Justin Lin is a fan and he cares. And Simon Pegg wrote a good film without Edgar Wright. Who knew?
Yeah, and that's it. And as well, he doesn't just give himself loads of cool lines and loads of stuff to do. Although he does have quite a lot to do in it, but it all feels natural. It feels like he should have stuff to do.
Would have been nice if he toned down the lassies.
Yeah, but I think that's an inflection that he always does play things up a level, sometimes too much. I don't know. The whole thing. I was laughing throughout a lot of it, and I had a big smile on my face throughout a lot of it, which for this type of movie you should. And you summed up a few seconds ago quite well. Is it didn't feel apocalyptic, and I don't want every single fucking summer blockbuster to feel apocalyptic.
Yeah.
I want occasionally them to be, look, this is a side story of this.
Yeah,
that's great.
Exactly. I mean, in the end of the day, if Kirk's dad's in the next one's going to be super Kirk heavy, and there's probably going to be a lot of apocalyptic type stuff going on.
Yeah.
If there's going to be like timelines like merging all over the place. So let's just have it be chilled. And I think maybe part of that was dictated by the fact that the whole process was quite rushed. I mean, they basically had a few months to write it after Roberto Orci left the project, and apparently it was like a complete start over.
Yeah.
So, God knows what happened there. But yeah, so the fact that it is quite self-contained is maybe because of that. But it's a fun time. It's a nice breather after Into Darkness. And I rewatched Into Darkness this week. I rewatched the Abrams Trek as well. And I've made my peace with Into Darkness somewhat. I was very, very mingy about it when we went to see it the first time before Mike's wedding.
Yeah, you see, I quite enjoyed Into Darkness, but I'm less versed in the universe than people. I've seen weirdly enough, I've seen all of the Star Trek movies, but I've seen them all once. And to be honest, I watched a lot of them with a friend that I used to have. years ago, and I was baked throughout most of them that
Sure.
I watched. So although I watched them and I know I've seen them, actually calculating them in my brain would be difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it's the pandering of Into Darkness that which obviously, like you just said there, you probably wouldn't get as much, but the switching of Kirk and Spock compared to what it was in Wrath of Khan is just brutal. And the fact that Benedict Cumberbatch, even though yes, it's an alternate timeline, how Ricardo Montalban and Benedict Cumberbatch are actually supposed to look like each other, I'm fascinated by that. I don't think Cumberbatch is great. Even though Peter Weller is a bad guy in Into Darkness, and it's kind of amazing how little his character seems to give a shit about anyone else. It's kind of breathtaking, actually, some of the way he plays it in that film. But the crew together are decent, and I don't know. It feels Into Darkness feels like it has something to say. Beyond doesn't, but
No,
that's not a problem.
but that's cool.
Yeah, it's
I
nice to
like
have something
this.
that doesn't have anything to say.
Yeah, I like the fact that from word go, it's essentially going, look, have some fun. Have some fun. We're going to show you a big fucking space opera, and it's going to be fun, and you know that everything in the end of it's going to be all right.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, like Sophia Patella really was great. I hope they keep her.
I really hope they keep her. I'd be gutted if it turned out she wasn't on the fucking Enterprise in the next one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. To be fair, Chekhov's replacement.
Could be, yeah.
That's quite an easy switch, and there you go, she's there. Yeah, but I mean, it was the character dynamics, like seeing Spock and Bones together, and I mean, they had some fucking brilliant exchanges. That was great, and Sulu gets a good amount to do, and because there's a moment with Sulu in Into Darkness where he has to take the comm basically, and he has to send out like a loudspeaker message to Khan, and he's like, I have 7 torpedoes aimed at you, and if you do not comply, they will be your destruction. Do not test me. And it's like, yeah, you're a badass. And then here, he's kind of like he's quite the badass again, and it's I like the continuity there, and it kind of feels like these guys have now taken ownership of these characters. And I mean, like Spock as well, the whole thing with Ambassador Spock, which was lovely. Like when he gets that photo at the end, that I'd imagine lifelong fans would probably break down and cry at that.
Yeah.
And it's just the thing of it being the 50th anniversary of Trek, and even down to the posters. Like the poster is very the poster with like where it's kind of like the vertical lines of color, not the diagonal, but it's very the motion picture.
Yeah, it looks like a Star Trek movie poster.
Yeah.
Rather than just a generic space blockbuster poster.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, and Justin Lin's come in, and he's not saying I did the Fast and Furious films. I'm cool. I'm too cool for this. Directors have come into Trek in the past and have been like, I don't really know Star Trek. I'm just going to make my own thing. And sometimes that works. Nicholas Meyer certainly did with the Wrath of Khan. Stuart Baird did not with Nemesis. But you've got Justin Lin coming here, and he's a fan, and he's respectful, and but he doesn't get too geeky. He still has the fun stuff, and if you're with the film, the sabotage moment at the end, which you really have to be with the film for that to pull off.
Yeah, do you know what? When I listened to Take the Power Back, and it was like, I like the shouting and the beat. I was like, do you know what? That's a cool line.
Yeah.
And then when she said, I know the song, my brain went, what's it gonna be? And then I remembered, it was in the trailer, wasn't it? And at that moment, I kind of went from being sort of sat down and enjoying it to sat with kind of like my feet up a little bit and sat back just going, just laughing. And the weird thing was, I was in a semi-busy screening, there was me and one other girl who, throughout the entire sequence of Sabotage, were just laughing.
Oh, one guy in my screening clapped at the end of that bit.
I did.
You know, that's what you want. That's what you want.
As well.
Nice. I mean,
I clapped. I think when it started to come at Sabotage, I went, oh, yes.
It's just the way that Kirk, like, almost fourth wall breaks and goes, like, that's a good choice. You know, and, like, looks straight down the barrel of the camera, and it's like, you know, fucking A. What,
also, is this classical music?
Yeah, no, you know, just brilliant. I mean, obviously, Sabotage is the double meaning as well, you know, and that's the thing. I was with it there, and it's like, this is brilliant. And I was kind of thinking, like, so this is going to be the climax then, this is great. And then it goes on for about another 20 minutes.
Yeah, that is the problem. That's what I would say, is where it starts to kind of, because you go in, hang on a minute, you know that there's something else. You know there's going to be a big showdown.
It's not going to be the bad guy gets blown up in a ship. That's not happening.
There's got to be a showdown between Kirk and Crow. So, yeah, it is a little bit like, oh, do you know what? Sabotage is only like a 3-minute 28-second song. You don't need to cut it off there. It should have been the whole fucking song.
I'd agree. Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. And, oh, fuck, what else was I going to say? Oh, yeah, the Sabotage thing as well. It brought to mind, weirdly, Aloha. Like, the whole, like, you've seen Aloha, haven't you?
Yeah.
The whole blowing up, is it Bill Murray in that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Blowing up his thing in space by, like, launching loads of noise and songs and stuff at it until it blows up. Where it's like, basically, Cameron Crowe chucked his record collection into space and it blew something up. I just it almost took me out of it. It can't have been a direct reference to Cameron Crowe's Aloha. It can't have been. But all I was thinking was, shit. No one. I suppose no one has ever been able to link Star Trek Beyond and Aloha.
No, they haven't.
I've just done it, and that kind of took me out of it slightly, to be honest. But I just had to get it off my chest. Also, like, I knew. As soon as, like, Uhura said to Idris Elba, like, there's something else going on here. There's something you're not saying.
Mm.
And it's like, right, okay, USS Franklin, yeah, that was his ship, fine. Yeah. And even when they play that video early on, and it's, like, in the background, I was looking at that, thinking, like, he's going to be in that video, he's going to be in that video.
I didn't get that. I knew that clearly he'd had some kind of interaction with humans beyond, what is it? So he'd clearly come in, with the Federation. He'd clearly been around that. But yeah, I didn't get that as much as that, certainly.
So yeah, I mean, like, when Uhura was, like, looking at that thing, I was like, just fucking show him, come on. But I liked his, like, how his character came about, where the Federation have abandoned me. I'm a soldier without a purpose. They've given me this captain's role, and the fact that, like Chris Pine even says to him, "You won."
Mm.
You know, and
it was quite a kind of shift in dynamic of you've got this guy who is clearly suffering from some kind of anger mixed with PTSD, mixed with all sorts of other stuff, and then has got all of this power, and he's just trying to fucking blow shit up.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was interesting, and I could have done with more. It's not like the bad guy in For the Dark World, where, if anything, you want less of him. With this, I actually wouldn't have minded getting into that dynamic more. And, you know, I mean, like, because there was a moment as well where it's like zero gravity, and he looks at himself in that, like, shard of glass.
Yeah.
And it was almost as if he was having, like, a crisis of conscience or something for a second.
Yeah.
But then just grabbed the thing, and it was like, if that was intended, I would have liked that developed a bit more. You know, I mean, he's he's potentially a really interesting villain. And I think all of the new Trek films have done this. Like, Nero was a potentially really interesting villain. Like his anger against Spock, it could be fascinating. And Khan, like the whole like smarter than everybody else, but being used by the Federation thing is quite well done. But the whole mystery box angle just completely torpedoed that. And then you've got Kroll here, and he's potentially interesting, but you don't really get enough of him. So I think that's a shame as well. I mean, but however, the film overall is really solid, and considering what the early marketing was like, good on it for being really solid.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
Until about a month, 6 weeks ago, everybody had forgotten this fucking film was coming.
Yeah. I totally had. Totally had. And when it came out, I was like, really? Does anyone even want that? And then when I watched it, I've gone, do you know what? I didn't want it, didn't expect it, but I fucking enjoyed it.
Yeah, there you go. And so it's really just fun.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
Exactly.
Good on it.
Yeah, it's a thoroughly definitely not shit from me. I really enjoyed it. But the thing is as well, whereas I've watched Star Trek once, I watched Star Trek twice. I watched it once, then I watched it before Into Darkness. I've watched Star Trek Into Darkness once, and I enjoyed it, but I'm not likely busting my gut to watch it again. Whereas Star Trek Beyond, I'll happily watch again. Because I don't see it on my own. When it comes out on home viewing, I'll watch it with X quite happily, and I know I'll be going into it going, I'm gonna have fun with this.
Yep, 4K Blu-ray day one for me, because I'm gonna need some 4K content, and this will look very, 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 very nice.
Yes, it will.
I mean, fuck, it would have been projected in 2K where I saw it, so I could potentially be looking at a better fucking visual presentation than what I fucking saw it at in the cinema. So day one. I'm really looking forward to seeing it again, and good on them. Definitely not shit.
Definitely not shit. What did people say on the poll?
Let's take a look, because I didn't have that ready. Because I'm not very good at having this shit organised, obviously. Bit tight. 7 votes. 57% definitely not shit. Touching cloth 43%. Nobody said shit though.
Oh, that's heartening that nobody said shit.
Yeah. Oh, and also, actually, I should mention in terms of polls, TGP 73.
Yes.
How do you position your toilet roll on the dispenser? Pull from over the top, 87%. Pull from underneath, 13%, based on 38 votes.
Yeah.
So I think 13% equates to 4 votes. So 4 people were right in that poll.
No, 4 people were criminally wrong, like yourself. You and 3 other madmen.
No.
You're wrong.
Nope. Right, okay. Let's do some what we watched then. Go ahead, sir.
Right. Because we've already talked for quite a while, I won't spend too long on them. I rewatched Bourne Legacy. I spoke about the
oh yes,
Damon Bournes. But I enjoyed them, but I felt a little bit underwhelmed by them at the end of it. I really enjoyed Legacy. I really enjoyed Legacy. It's too long. It's a good 15-20 minutes.
Love the Oscar Isaac section. I'm going to be rewatching it this week. I'm looking forward to it. The Oscar Isaac section, man, in the cabin. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's great. I like Renner's Aaron Cross. I like the fact that essentially he's very similar to, it's a similar thing. I do like the link-ins from the Bourne movies, from the other Bourne movies. It suffers from towards the end. It becomes generic Bourne movie, so it's got to have like a car chase and it's got to have blah 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 blah. It just felt a little bit like that, but yeah, I really quite enjoyed it, to be honest.
Nice.
Weirdly enough, I probably enjoyed it more than the other Bourne movies.
You, sir, are a A diamond in the rough.
I will accept that happily. Next one I watched was I rewatched Airheads, the 1984
Nice.
Rich Wilkes comedy. Michael Lehman comedy. Of course, Airheads, for anybody who hasn't seen it, stars Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi, and Adam Sandler as Chaz, Rex, and Pip, a band that are called the Lone Rangers, which is fantastic. The fact that everybody who says it goes, hang on a minute, how can you pluralise the Lone Ranger? And the band just don't get it, which is magnificent. Along with a lot of other people, where to get their demo played, they hijack a rock radio station. It still holds up ridiculously well. It's 92 minutes long, which obviously is a comedy, so it should be 92 minutes long. But it's nice seeing Adam Sandler not as the central character in a movie, as one of the other characters, as one of the sidekicks, essentially. It's nice seeing a young, funny Steve Buscemi and Brendan Fraser now not looking like literally he has washed up on the shore in LA. It is a lot of fun. It's on Netflix UK, and I urge people to rewatch it because, like I say, it doesn't feel dated. It doesn't feel like it's aged, really. It doesn't feel fresh or anything like that, but it's still, the ideas of it still work. The comedy of it still works. It's still zany, yet feels possible. It certainly is a lot of fun.
Nice. Fair enough.
Moving on to a movie that was a lot of fun to a movie that wasn't a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I watched Tale of Tales.
Oh, the fucking
Matteo
Carano, yeah.
Film starring Salma Hayek, Vincent Cassel, Toby Jones, and John C. Reilly in a blink and you'll miss him performance there. Yeah, have you seen this yet?
Not yet, no.
It's 2.25 hours long.
Okay.
2.25 hours long. It's 2.25 hours long. It is 2.25 hours long. I started watching it at 10 o'clock last night, and it finished because obviously went to get drinks, etc. and stuff like that. It finished at nearly 1 a.m. It felt like I'd been watching it for days. It is, for anybody who says, "Oh no, you've got to look for the meaning beyond the meaning." No, you don't. No, you don't. Right? Looking for the meaning beyond the meaning in Tale of Tales, right, is quite simply like watching a Frosties advert from the 90s and saying, "Oh my God, this is such a brilliant takedown of the Trump administration." Because that is as much as I can get with Tale of Tales. There is no meaning beyond the fact that this quite simply looks like something that would be on Sky One at fucking Easter. It's all people who can be very good in stuff, but can also be very bad in stuff occasionally. And that's what happens here. Toby Jones, noticing that he's got a flea on his hand, and then pricking his finger to give it some blood, and then raising it until it becomes like a fucking horse-sized flea. Right? It's got Salma Hayek eating a sea beast's heart to become pregnant with a son. It's got Vincent Cassel finding a witch's voice. That's never actually confirmed he's a witch or not, by the way. Horny, and then wanting to fuck her, right? And then she says, you can, but you've got to have all the lights off, so he does, and then he turns the lights on to have a quick look at her and realises that she's an old hag, so has her thrown out of the window. Right? Which, my description of it there is more entertaining than how it actually happens.
Right.
It's... All I can say is for people, if you got something out of this, fantastic. All power to you. However, I can't help but thinking that if you got something out of this, then you've been looking too fucking hard at it. What you have got out of it, what you have created in your brain that this was saying, is more interesting than anything this movie is saying at all. It was painful to watch. If you want to watch a dark fairy tale, just watch fucking Sleepy Hollow and Others Grimm, because they're at least entertaining. This was just boring, subpar, amateur dramatic bumwiffery.
Oh dear.
Yes, it will be my bottom 5 of the year. I will almost guarantee it.
Wow, fucking hell, really?
Yeah, I hated it. I hated it. It's not much that I hate the movie. I hate the fact that people. The movie was just boring. I will hate it because people will tell me how brilliant it is, and I will be going, "No, it's not. It's shit."
Mm.
Stop telling me it's brilliant because it's made by a European director and it stars people who are usually brilliant. That doesn't make it fucking brilliant.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not. It's just no. Just no. Start telling me about something else, Ian.
Okay, I will. Blimey. So I watched Kurosawa's second film, The Most Beautiful.
Yes.
Which I wouldn't recommend. It's an 80-minute propaganda piece for Japanese people keeping on making weapons and whatnot during World War II. The first 15 minutes, in this factory, production targets are increased 100% for the men, 50% for the women, and the women are all like devastated by this, and the head of the women has a meeting with the manager, and the manager's like, well, we've given you lower targets, and she's like, that's exactly it. We think we can do more. We think we can do as much as the men. Give us as much. We'll prove to you that we can do it. And cool. Women are brilliant. That's absolutely fine.
They are.
I didn't need an hour and 20 minutes of then my father's just died, but my mother's just died, but my father said don't come home, the war effort is more important. And a girl basically fakes an illness until she basically drops dead. Fakes not having an illness, sorry, so that she can continue working. And it's all about increasing productivity. And, it just, wow, really? Apparently, Shanshiro Sagata, the first film, was not liked by wartime censors because they felt it didn't have an inspiring enough message for, increasing productivity. So Kurosawa basically went, okay, well, here's the most straight fucking thing you can imagine then. How's this?
Yeah.
And, it's not a great film. It's an hour and 20. Thank fuck it was an hour and 20 minutes long. It almost feels like heresy for down decrying a film by Akira Kurosawa, but it's an 80-minute advert.
Yeah, I think his first 4 or 5 movies are about 80 odd minutes long. They're
Yeah.
no longer than 90 minutes.
Yeah, no, and it is what it is, though. It was a very specific situation under which this was made.
Yes.
So that's that. Like I say, it is what it is. Okay. So I watched the Trek films. I also watched Wrath of Khan. The new Blu-ray does look very nice. Even though I did notice there are a couple of shots where it's on Shatner where it literally looks like Vaseline's been rubbed over the camera to make his wrinkles look less there. Which is literally...
Which is horrible.
Yeah. There's a scene about 10-15 minutes in where Kirk and Bones are having a conversation in his apartment where it cuts to Bones and it's nice and sharp, then it cuts to Shatner and it just looks a bit smeary. And I think it's just at a high enough resolution now where it is you can see.
No, it's not.
And there is a 4K HDR version of this out there. Nicholas Meyer was in an interview last year and he was talking about it. That's not out yet. God knows what that scene's going to look like in front of Jesus Christ. But yeah,
You're literally going to be able to see time in his forehead.
yeah, straight up. But Wrath of Khan's still amazing, and Amazing Grace at the end still tears me up like no one's business every single fucking time. That scene is gorgeous.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So what else did I watch? Deadpool. Rewatched Deadpool 4K Blu-ray. Lovely. I'd watched part of it when we recorded last week, but yeah, that film holds up very well on the second viewing. It's just a lot of fun.
Good. I've still not done my second viewing.
Yeah, no, I mean it's not going to be top 10 at the end of the year for me or anything, but it's a lot of fun. But yeah, I think you'll still enjoy it. And lastly for me actually, because no, fair play. It is nearly 8 o'clock, isn't it? I watched Scanners for the first time.
For the first time?
Yeah.
How have you only got to Scanners just now?
It's on Mubi, where it literally expires in 4 hours.
That doesn't explain why you've not watched Scanners yet.
Because I find Cronenberg quite.
Oh, you do, don't you? The body horror stuff.
It weirds me out.
Yeah.
Like his early stuff really weirds me out.
Oh, have you ever seen Rabid?
I'm never fucking watching Shivers or Rabid ever again.
Oh, yeah. Because body horror, because I'm a little bit funny with body horror. It's your isn't it?
Yeah, no, but I'm not a fan. Like, I mean, like body horror, yeah, it weirds me out. Like the Thing I can do because it's kind of fantastical. But like Rabid, like, and like Sliver, James Gunn's Sliver, I will never ever watch that film again. I watched it once, fun film. Didn't need to see some of the things in that film just because it kind of like freaks me the fuck out.
Yeah.
And there you go, so. But yeah, I mean, Scanners. As I said on
one of Becky's favourite films. This.
Oh really? Oh, fair play.
Yeah, she loves it.
If you didn't know it was Cronenberg, you'd almost think it was a parody of Cronenberg because it's none more Cronenberg.
Yes, it's very Cronenbergy, isn't it?
Yeah, and the atmosphere in his early films is unlike any other director ever for me. Like the combination of production design and score and the off-kilter performances and the just sense of fucking dread and just everything has gone to shit.
Yeah.
Of his earlier work is just uncomparable, or incomparable maybe is the word. It just. Like all the like interiors are like sterile or just slightly worn out, like and it, it just the performances are all very cold and barely anyone showing any emotion, and it's all just there's a sense of icky to it all that is incredibly impressive.
Yes.
But when I say it's like a parody, there's a scene where a guy basically looks like he's coming while having like a circuit board download information into his head. And there's shots of a circuit board with like a red and pink light as if it's like some sort of porno. But it's like the circuit board. Like someone, like, it was almost like Cronenberg was thinking people were going to jack off to it or something. It's so fucking weird. And like moments of extreme gore, like bookended at the start and the end. Like the start is obviously incredibly famous. It's brilliant. But the ending, I didn't know that stuff was coming. And like when the main guy's like eyes pop out and just like his veins all come up and start bleeding out, and then Ironside's eyes going white, and like the main guy being set on fire. It's fucking mental.
Yeah.
But also, to be fair, not a lot actually happens in the film. But somehow it makes it seem like loads happens. And it's just, I mean, there's stuff like, there's a scene where someone's got a gun up to a computer technician's head, and the computer technician's like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. He's tapping away. He's like, I've got to go over to that terminal now. And he's like, right, yeah, go over to that terminal. Like, tap, tap, tap. right, you're definitely sure you want to do this? He's got his gun pointed at him, and it's like this, like, it's in any other scene, it would be like the tension's up, it's really action packed, but here it's just ever so slightly off, and almost comedic in just the, like, how weirdly nonchalant this guy is being to having a gun pressed up against his head.
Yeah, I know the scene you mean.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy. I mean, it's mental. I give no shits about watching any of the sequels. Like this. I think there's 4 of them.
I think there is. Yeah, don't. Yeah, you don't.
Yeah, no point. But yeah, I mean, just again, I'll probably never watch it again because that's what I'm like with Cronenberg. Because I just don't want it. I mean, Christ, I watched Videodrome in a screening in a lecture at uni. And it just, like people were getting up and walking out, and I was just like, this is so fucking weird watching this with a group of people. But you know what? A sterile lecture hall is probably about right for Videodrome. You know, and I mean, he's a hell of a director. I mean, he's amazing, and it just... His earlier stuff, I could, you know, absolutely brilliant stuff. I'll never watch it. Like Videodrome, I'll never watch again in my life. It's not going to happen. I don't need to wallow in that for another hour and a half.
Yeah, you see, I was supposed to see it at the cinema, but the thing is, it's also
that's right, the Refn thing, isn't it?
Yeah, Becky's got to work. The thing is, it's showing at different times at the City Screen than it is everywhere else, and it's showing on a night where Becky's got a work night out that she's already put me down for going to, and I'm a bit like, oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it going, can I sneak away? And she's kind of said, look, if it's kind of winding down towards kind of 8 o'clock, yes, you can get off and go watch it.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. But yeah, I mean, like it's off movie by the time this will be up, so never mind. But yeah,
you'll be able to catch it.
Yeah, no, totally. But hell of a film.
Yes.
So that is it. I don't think we got any emails. You got any Twitter questions?
We do. Yes. Bear me 2 seconds, and I shall find them for us. We got earlier in the week. We got one from. Where was it? John at Chogger on Twitter saying, questions for both of you. Are you going to Fright Fest this year, and what do you think of the lineup? I might try and catch a day, but I think it's unlikely, to be honest.
Yeah, not happening.
Just because I've got other stuff on. I think I'm actually going to a beer festival with Noel.
Oh well, yeah, there you go. I'd rather go to that. No, I'm not. I think Fright Fest is done for me, to be fair.
I'm a little bit done with modern horror at the moment. I'm at a bit of a thing where I'm watching it, but I'm enjoying it less and less and less. The lineup's okay. There's nothing that jumps out that makes me go ooh. But I think that's just the place I am with it. As ever, I hope everyone has a lot of fun. I still think the best thing, it'd be interesting to watch like new location. The best thing about Fright Fest is always just catching up with a lot of people, to be honest, in a few days. And if you see a couple of good movies, then, brilliant. But let's face it, if you go to a festival and you see 10 movies and one of them's good, you've done well.
Yep.
And we've also got one from Rich Kidd, Rich J. Kidd. From a pub discussion I was in, which acclaimed directors don't you understand the fuss about? It's Paul Thomas Anderson and David Lynch for me. They produced decent enough stuff, but nothing I've thought was great. Well, they're two of my favourite directors. So, but then again, what I will say is with Lynch, he either gets you or he doesn't. Not you either get it or you don't get it. He either gets you, grips you, or he doesn't. And if you don't really get on with at least one Lynch, then you're probably not going to get on with all of it. He's very much he's either your man or he's not your guy. He's not your guy. Instead of that,
I'm not massive on Goddard.
I'm not. I'll agree with that. I'm not massive on Godard. I don't see it. I'm also. I'm gonna get fucking pelters with this one. Um, I'm not massive on Hitchcock. I,
Oh,
that's not me saying I think he's a bad director. He's clearly not. He's incredibly influential, etc. But there are a few films that I think are fantastic. But he's a director where I'll watch some of it and go, I don't know what the fuss is about on that. Whereas stuff like obviously Psycho is fantastic and I love Rear Window and The Birds is great, but there's other stuff I've watched and gone, does nothing for me. Does nothing for me. Does nothing for me. And he's never someone I'd talk about in like my favourite directors.
fair enough.
I'm trying to think who else is out there that I don't get. No, there's a lot of people. I think there's a lot of directors out there that I don't enjoy their films. But Ridley Scott, I spoke about a lot of times. You know, I think Tony Scott's the more entertaining brother of those two guys. But he has probably made the better film. If you just go make a top 10, Ridley Scott would have the higher ones, but there'd be more Tonys in there.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. I mean, I get Ridley Scott though. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, that's it. I suppose I get it. Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, shit. I don't know. I mean, Goddard like just kind of came to mind straight away. Like, I don't. I mean, I don't know. It's just like every one of his films I've seen, I've just like been either I'm not into that or no, it was alright.
Yeah, I've been like that, and there's been outright a few where I've gone, that's just bollocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is. There is. There's some that are just bollocks.
No, fair enough.
And I've had people who are massive fans explain it to me and go, oh no, it's about this and about this and about this and about this. And I went, yeah, that just sounds like more bollocks on top of more bollocks. Literally, what you're doing is you're just showing me a load of bollocks
Massive
and telling me that they're beautiful breasts, and they're not. They're just bollocks.
Bollocks.
They're bollocks.
Bollocks.
And they're not even shaved. They're horrible.
Ooh, unshaved bollocks.
Horrible, unshaved, veiny bollocks.
Sweet. On that note.
Wasn't typically doing in the monkey, so summarisation of one of the most acclaimed directors of his time.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
And on that note, that's going to do it for this week's Dude and the Monkey. We will be back next week with a review of Jason Bourne. I'm assuming.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I'm also seeing The Killing Joke tomorrow night.
Oh, nice. That's tomorrow night, is it?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, all right, well, I'm sure you'll be talking about that next week. So, yeah, that'll do it. dothemonkey@gmail.com, at gmail.com, yeah, dothemonkey.com, at dothemonkey, at dudefoz, and at Ian Loring. And I'm going to go be a dad, and I'm assuming Mark's going to go eat.
I'm going to go and eat a ridiculously expensive leg of shoulder of lamb that has been cooking for about the past 5 hours.
And I'm going to and ah about the Xbox One S again.
Oh. I wonder how many you'll buy before you decide you don't want one.
I know.
Right, thank you very much for listening, folks.
Bye.
Bye.